Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Now, I want you to picture this, okay? I've invited you to my office here in Bel Air to go on a field trip, but you have no idea where you're going to be going. We load up the car. We start driving to an undisclosed location. You're blindfolded. You feel the tires go off the road. The bumps of the road and the goosebumps on your arms start to rise up. The anxiety, like, what is going on? You're guided out of the car, blindfolded, to a certain spot. And when you take off the blindfold, you look down into a ravine, and there lies a gun range with a crazy man, not a crazy man, with a firearms instructor at the bottom looking up at you. And today, you're going to be shooting some guns. Well, that happened to our real estate team about a couple weeks ago. And today, we have the best firearms training person in Harford County and Cecil County, sitting right here with us right today, Mike Thomas with Team Grizzly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. What an introduction.
That was an introduction. But you had to picture it, right? Because we did that, and it was like it was a phenomenal day. We had a whole bunch of we had some experienced people, we had some inexperienced people. And man, you just put on a great clinic, a great educational clinic. It wasn't just coming out and firing guns, you know. It was a safe, controlled, educational environment. And I definitely want to bring you in on the podcast, talk more about it. So, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And
yeah.
You explained that so well. The feelings that you explained just now, even when people know they're coming to the range or they're thinking about getting instruction, they have that nervousness. And my goal is to eliminate or minimize the nervousness and help them to become confident. So perfect segue.
And we had to do it that way because honestly, I don't think if I told my wife, Amy, where we were going, or if I told Kara where we were going, they would have been like, oh, heck no, we're not doing that. I mean, you know, I've shot a rifle once when I was a young kid. My dad was a police officer, but that's the extent of my shooting. My wife never touched a gun. So, you know, I knew there would be hesitation. And I just said to them, like, just go with it and try something new. And it was phenomenal. Did a great job. So,
and everybody enjoyed it?
Yeah, everybody enjoyed it. Everybody had fun. Of course, you had Adam, the sharpshooter, you know, because he was Maryland State Police before, you know. And Dan did a good job, too. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone did great, and they made gains wherever they were.
Yes.
That's also a goal of mine, just help people to get better.
Yeah.
And in that short amount of time, everyone got better. I remember talking about this during our pre-range day, and we were setting this up, and I'm like, are you sure you don't want to tell Amy ahead of time?
Heck no. She was beside herself. And hopefully throughout this interview, and if you're listening to this on Apple and Spotify, we actually have some B-roll of that day that we're going to be kind of going over top the conversation that we're having today. So you'll be able to see what's going on out there. So anyway, so how did all this start for you? Like what made you so interested in firearms?
Great question. I grew up from a very young age being an outdoorsman with my dad, my grandfather, my uncle, my cousins, and we were out either on the water or in the woods almost every weekend. And I grew up hunting. And when my oldest, who's now 22, was 9, I went to her hunter safety course with her. And there was a group of guys there, and I said, wow, I really like teaching people. I like instructing. I've got a little bit of experience behind me here, probably about 30-some years at that point, and thought, I'd like to do this. Do you guys need help? And they said, yes, we need help.
Yeah.
So I went through the process of becoming a hunter safety instructor through the Natural Resources Police, which was a long process, believe it or not. Yeah. It took a while to get there, but I've been doing that ever since.
I was going to ask, like, how long does it take to get certified in being an instructor for firearms training?
For firearms training, it depends. You can go to an NRA class about maybe a week.
Okay.
It's a 16-hour training course and get your NRA pistol instructor certificate, which allows you to get your Maryland qualified instructor certificate and therefore now teach Maryland classes. Yeah.
And with the teaching, you kind of alluded to it before, like when people come out to your range, there's a wide variety of people that have experience or inexperience, and you kind of meet them where they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Brand new, never touched a gun, to military, law enforcement,
Yeah.
the gamut in between. And back to what I said earlier, there's a book out there by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy called The Gap and the Gain. And it talks about thinking about your gains and measuring yourself in your gains versus your gap. Your gap is the goal and how far away from that gap you are, how far away from the goal you are. And
Yeah.
if we measure ourselves in that gap, we often become discouraged. But if we look back of where we were this morning,
Yeah.
and we say, oh, wow, we've made such gains, we've improved, and we start measuring ourselves in that, we'll get to that goal.
It's almost like lag and leading indicators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So wherever people are, where they're starting, the goal is to build confidence and to give them the gains
Right.
to keep going.
Well, you did a phenomenal job of teaching safety. Like, it was very evident from the very beginning, which you have to. I mean, you have to. I mean, the way that as soon as I did something wrong, you were like right on it, you know? What is the biggest safety issue that you see people having when they start with firearms training?
Safety is a big issue, obviously. Top priority comes from my dad. The safety consciousness comes all the way back to hunting days. Keeping your gun pointed in a safe direction.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're not flagging anyone or pointing it at anything you don't want to destroy. Big. And then the finger on the trigger. It's easy for fingers to go on the trigger.
Yep.
Even when you're not on target. So those two things, I would say, are the biggest things. But we fix them really quick. I think keeping the gun pointed in a safe direction is the easier of the two to correct.
Right.
It takes a little bit longer for the finger off the trigger part until you're on target and ready to shoot.
Yeah. That, and truth be told, that's what I got called out on.
That's right.
It is what it is. What it is. So for somebody that's never shot a gun before, someone like my wife, what are some of the encouraging words that you can share with them that can help them get over that fear of firing a weapon?
Great question. I think a couple of things. If you're coming to my range, know that we're not this, crazy, we're going to be running and gunning from the start. Okay. Now, for the right person, we can do those things. But for most of my concealed carry foundations courses, which is my core class, there are a lot of beginners or familiar but not expert.
Yeah.
And just starting where you are, understanding that we're going to start with just one round. I think you remember we did that. We only had one round in the gun.
One round in the gun.
And we shot that one round. We got the nervousness out of us with that one round, at least mostly.
Yes.
And that made it easier to do the next round.
It's that anticipation of never experiencing the gun firing as to what that's going to be like.
Right.
That is maybe the most fearful thing for somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also that if they decide they don't want to proceed, I'm not going to push them to go past what they want to do.
Yeah.
I've had people that have shot for part of the day and said, I'm finished. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
If you decide you want to come back on the range, let me know.
Yep.
If otherwise, you can sit out and watch if they were there with a family member.
Yeah.
Or they can go. Now, that doesn't happen very often. I'll give a quick example. I took my wife and daughter out shooting a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter shot a .38. She's 10. She's done a lot of training on a red dot on a Mantis, which is a firearms-like gun. So it's a replica and shoots a laser. It's pretty neat. She's put 4,000 rounds through it.
Okay.
And so she was familiar with how to do it, but there's no recoil. So she took one shot. I helped her with it. She did a great job.
Okay.
And she just said, I'm good. She was done. I'm like, okay, that's all we need to do. We just made a gain.
Yeah.
Right. So from that example to others, that helps people feel better,
Yeah.
more comfortable with the firearm
Yeah.
while respecting it, while staying safe.
Yeah. You would think that you would think safety would be paramount, but I just really didn't realize until we got there just how much safety was focused on, to help, keep everybody from having a good time and not getting shot, right?
Right, for sure.
That can turn into a bad day, I guess.
Very quickly.
Right? So what are some of the responsibilities that people need to think about when they're going to get their concealed to carry? Yeah, okay, I want to get a gun. But what does that really mean?
I want to get a gun sounds like I want to buy a guitar.
Uh-huh.
Right? I want to buy a guitar. Great. You can put that guitar in your house. You can put it on the stand. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It has a purpose, but are you using it for that purpose? Are you qualified to use it for that purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And having a guitar does not mean you can play a guitar. So having a gun for personal protection doesn't mean that you know how to use that firearm. So you want to be able to know how to use it safely and effectively and confidently. Mm-hmm. And those are my goals of my class. Safety, how to carry it, how to secure it, how to keep it away from unauthorized people like kids. Mm-hmm. Super, super important. So it's not just safety on the range, it's safety at home, it's safety in storage or staging if you're staging your firearms for home defense. And of course, having a good holster, making sure it's secure on your body when you are carrying it. And then other things that people often don't think of is the law, use of force law, the restraints that we have, the things that we need to understand about when can we use this force. Of course, it's always a last resort, right? We want to escape, evade, avoid. That's where situational awareness comes in. That's where mindset comes in, which is one of the things that I focus on in my classes is mindset. Mindset of be aware of your surroundings, know where your exits are, know how to get you and your family out of Dodge if necessary, and then using that firearm and deploying that firearm, there are many steps in between seeing the threat and using that because that use of force will change your life forever.
Right.
For good or bad, I mean, it's protecting your life, but there are consequences to it. So you have to understand the guidelines, if you will.
Yeah. And you talk about situational awareness, and I think you had some kind of statistic like 90% of defending yourself is before the gun. Situational awareness. What are some of the things that you can encourage people to think about when you're out in public or just in any kind of situation? Like, what are some things that people can focus on before we even get to the weapon?
Glad you asked. So one of the things that I talk to people about is, number one, just looking up and around, being aware of your surroundings. We often aren't paying attention because we're on our phones.
Yep.
We're talking to someone. If I'm having a conversation, even right now, I'm not looking around, although I can see some things behind you. But understanding what is going on in your area and understanding what's normal for that area. We call it baselining.
Okay.
So you baseline maybe people, you baseline an area or a room or a location, what's normal for it. And then when you see things or notice things that are abnormal, we're really inclined to notice those things if we're paying attention. Hey, that's different. Why is that guy wearing a sweatshirt in July, for instance? That will help you key in on those things that could be a threat.
Yeah.
And even before you get to that point, when you walk into a new place, okay, where can I get out of here? Where's my exit? Most people think, well, the door that I came in is my exit. And that is an exit. That's your primary.
Right.
But there may be a secondary that's behind you or maybe through the kitchen in a restaurant. And then there's your tertiary or your non-conventional exits, like I had to break a window to get out of here.
Right.
Or open a window and jump.
Yeah.
Depending on how high you are.
Sure.
Those types of things.
Or even like if you're going into a restaurant, how you seat yourself. If you can seat yourself on the perimeter where you have a wider range of visual and everything that's going on versus having your back to the front door or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Very good advice for people. Sit on the outsides, back to the wall if possible, so you can see the entrances where people are coming in and you can notice something that looks off quicker because time is life. The faster you can process what you need to do to protect yourself, the more likely you are to get out unharmed.
Yeah, yeah. It's a crazy world we're living in, and I don't have any guns, not for any political or, just don't have any. But certainly there is a people that are for, and there are people that are like strictly against, and then there's somebody maybe in the middle or whatever. If you had the opportunity to let's say you're sitting down with me, and I'm just completely like against guns, don't want to have anything to do with them. And we're not fighting. We're having an intelligent conversation.
Sure.
This isn't clickbait. This isn't like, us getting fired up with each other or whatever.
Right.
But how could you educate me? That's the key word, is educate me to look at guns as something that could be a pro versus something that's completely against what I currently think.
That is a good question. First of all, one of the things that I like to ask people is, if you had a problem and there was a threat or a person with a gun, who are you calling?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 911.
Yeah.
All right, so you're calling people that have guns.
Right.
So you're not against them having a gun to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, I also say, look, if guns aren't for you, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not saying everybody should have a gun. As a matter of fact, probably had some people in my range that maybe they shouldn't, right? So, but generally speaking, yeah, we have that constitutional right to be able to defend ourselves, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that everyone's going to make that choice to do that. I'm okay with that.
Right.
It's when people start to say, hey, no one should have guns, maybe except for law enforcement. And law enforcement, I have a lot of law enforcement friends. They'll be the first to tell you, we're usually there to clean up. Mm-hmm. When minutes count, or I should say when seconds count, police are minutes away. So I take it as a biblical responsibility to defend myself and my family, to be able to do that, to protect them. And yes, my wife has the ability to protect herself as well, and I think those are all good things, to be able to protect you and your family. So the gun is a tool. Ultimately, I like to use this phrase. I did not coin the phrase. I'm not sure who did, but your mind is your weapon and everything else is just a tool.
I like that.
So situational awareness,
Yeah.
looking at your exits, doing things to avoid confrontation. We do silly things sometimes in public, in traffic, let's say, right? Someone cuts you off and you maybe don't react to that super well.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Right, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Tim Larkin is a guy that I follow a little bit, and he is the target-focused training guy, and he does non-firearms defense. And he says, one of his phrases is, consider everyone's about 6 seconds away from a shooting spree. Don't be the guy that pushes that button.
Yeah, right?
Right? So you don't ever know. Of course, we're not walking around paranoid and thinking that everybody's going to pull a gun on you or hurt you. But just being aware not to press people's buttons, just to be careful in how you say and how you respond, and having self-control to maintain calmness when other people are not remaining calm. So we're talking de-escalation.
De-escalation, yeah.
All good things to be able to do in business,
Sure.
family,
Negotiations, family, yeah.
at the grocery store, wherever in the parking lot.
Driving down through the town of Bel Air or Route 1.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy, and not excusing anybody's bad behavior, but people have bad days, and a lot of times when the police are coming, they're visiting on somebody's worst day, you know, and certainly they got to protect themselves. But I can see again where it's important that, from a biblical perspective, that we're protecting our family if the need should arise.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. When do you think someone shouldn't carry? You were talking about some people at the range, maybe we should, maybe you shouldn't have a gun.
People who, number one, aren't confident or don't commit to training. So maybe right now you're not super confident, and that's okay.
Right.
Just do some more training.
Yeah.
Let's spend some more time on the range. Let's spend some more time at home dry firing, just understanding and learning about the tool, right? I mean, if you become a carpenter, you don't just start using tools willy-nilly. You have to learn how they work. You have to learn the ins and outs. You want to be able to use that proficiently and professionally. Same thing with the firearm. So sometimes it just takes more knowledge and more training to get to that point where you're confident to be able to do that. If you're not willing to do that, and maybe all you train is every 2 or 3 years when you need to get a piece of paper to renew, that probably isn't the best situation.
Okay.
You know.
So how much training does it take, whether it's Maryland law or what you feel is the best optimal use of time to continue, like once you learn how to properly shoot in a safe manner, like how often should people be practicing?
That is a great question. It probably depends on the person, but I would say on the range, probably once every 2 to 3 months if you spent a couple of hours on the range. And I caveat that with this. At home, you can do dry fire practice, no ammo in the room, clear firearms, or you can use tools like the Mantis, which is an inert trainer gun, to be able to learn how to draw from your holster, how to put rounds on target. It has a laser, you have targets, you can put your targets up in your room. This is where my daughter was working with the laser trainer as well, and we were working together. So every night for 40 days, we shot at least 50 rounds, and I say shot 50 rounds.
Right.
We pulled the trigger 50 times, working through different drills. And there are apps. There's an app that helps with that, so that you can say, all right, I'm going to work on, beginner marksmanship or maybe intermediate, and work through those drills, and you start to learn the trigger presses and how to draw and how to get rounds quickly on the target. And in between your range time, if you're doing dry fire, whether it's with your gun that you have and you're not going to pay for the trainer, and safely, of course, just doing that will help you when you do go to the range, and probably can space out your range time a little bit more.
Interesting. Huh. So the Mantis, is that what you called it?
Mantis.
The Mantis, it has a laser on it?
Correct.
What does all that look like when you're using a Mantis?
So, and I do have it with me, but I didn't know if we'd have the opportunity to show it. But the Mantis is a replica of, let's just say, a particular gun that's a popular handgun, and there are different models that we have, and you can fit it into your holster if it's your gun. If it's your particular gun, you can get a replica of your gun in some cases.
Okay.
And for instance, mine is a replica of the gun that I carry. So therefore, I can use that, replace the one that's in my holster with that, and practice. I might be at my desk working, doing my day job.
Yeah.
And, I'll take a break and turn around and then maybe shoot 20, 30 rounds with the Mantis onto my targets using my app. And that just gave me 20 or 30 rounds that I didn't have to pay a dime for.
And that gives you feedback as to like where you hit on the target?
It does. It gives you feedback of how you're pressing the trigger, how the muzzle's moving. There's a sensor inside of it. So it really gets technical, down to holster draw analysis. If you're, jerking the trigger, if you're pushing on the gun, you're milking the grip, it can give you all those.
It has all those sensors in the gun that connects to the app.
It's mainly, the motion sensor. So if your gun is dipping, right, you're probably doing one of two things.
Okay.
So it'll tell you what those things are and how to correct it. So it's a great tool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You mentioned before about the safety of having children in the home and being able. What are some things that people should be considering when they have kids in the home? How to properly secure the weapon so that they can't get to it. Talk a little bit about that.
I'm really glad you asked that, because that is very important. And number one is the safest place for your firearm is on your hip. if you have a good holster, good Kydex holster or holster that fits your gun, that forms to your gun, covers the trigger, on your person, you have the most control. After that, it's going to be in a safe, in a locked safe where there's no access to anyone that shouldn't have access.
Yeah.
So one thing that people might do is they might get a little lazy and just put their gun on the shelf or put it in a drawer, those kind of things. Kids can find things.
Yeah.
Now, your 2-year-old probably isn't going to climb to your 6th, drawer, but you want to be in the habit of always securing that firearm in the safe when it's not on your person.
And you just said habit. Like, okay, maybe my 2-year-old can't reach that right now, but if that's the habit of always storing it in that top drawer, eventually the kid grows up and, yeah.
And we talk about this in hunter safety, that kids know where things are in your house, even if you think they don't.
Yeah.
So they can find things, they're curious. You're not necessarily watching them every second, and you might just think, oh, it'll be fine. I'm going to, step outside for a minute, or I need to take this off for a few minutes, and then before you know it, you forgot about it. Mm-hmm. So this happens to police officers and other professionals sometimes, where they leave their gun in places like bathrooms, right? Where they shouldn't be left, and people are finding them. So it does happen to people who are in the habit of making sure they're secured. So it can happen to anyone, so it's really important. It only takes one time. Yeah.
I mean, you see the rise in school shootings, and tragic, and I think part of it is securing that weapon so that the kid can't find it and take it to school and do damage. Are there any other prevention things that you could share from your perspective that would help to decrease the chance of there being more school shootings? Like, it's a hot topic in our environment, but from your perspective, yes, you're pro guns. Yes, you are pro right to bear arms, protect your family, and all that stuff. But certainly, you're not for school shootings, right? So, what are some safety measures that we can put in place as a society to prevent that from happening?
So, there are certain places that you aren't supposed to carry, right? And schools are one of them.
Okay.
And I'm all for that. This is my opinion, that if you're going to try to stop guns from being placed in schools or brought to school, you have to be able to police that. And I don't mean with police. You need to be able to know if someone's coming in that school with a gun. Because here's the deal. Law-abiding citizens will follow that rule. Criminals will not.
Correct.
So let's say it's not a kid. Let's just
guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Right.
Yeah.
So the gun is the tool.
Yes.
But if you're going to say this is a gun-free zone, in the criminal's mind, that's a soft target, because they know that there's not going to be many guns, if any, there. Maybe a safety officer is there or things like that, but that's 1 or 2 people in a large area. So being able to have a metal detector or something to detect weapons coming into that school is really important. So if you're going to put the law in place, you should really be able to stop those from coming in and be preventive with that, versus, okay, it's a criminal, didn't obey the law again, so he's in the school with a gun. Also, from an outside perspective, for active shooters, keeping the schools locked up, making sure the doors are locked. This goes for your churches as well.
Yeah.
I'm on my church security team, and we keep the doors locked once sermon starts, and we have people out there to let people in that are supposed to be there. But keeping the doors locked is really important for schools and churches.
Yeah.
So that people with guns aren't getting in there.
Right.
People who are looking to do harm.
I know the school system, because I was once a teacher, really did a good job of having like different drills, scenario situations that, the kids would need to take seriously. Like, okay, what happens if we have an active shooter in the building? And the faster that you know the plan of what to do, the greater the chance of surviving.
Absolutely. And that's my whole training philosophy, is being prepared, running those scenarios, thinking about things ahead of time, because if you're not prepared, you're going to hesitate. Hesitation costs time. Time is life. Just what you said. Number one, be prepared, know what you're going to do, run the scenarios. And if we run enough scenarios through our minds and we work through things, there's going to be enough similarity with something that does happen that, okay, I've thought through this, maybe not this exact scenario, because we could never go through every scenario.
Right.
But close enough that I'm like, okay, I know I need to get out of here. There's the door. I've already thought about the exit, for instance. Or worst case scenario, I need to stop the threat. Here's what can I do? What can I use to do that? Whether you're carrying whatever tool you're carrying.
Yeah. So let's kind of switch it up a little bit, because I was getting a little controversial there. I don't want to get. We don't want to get controversial.
You didn't tell me you were going to get political.
I know, right? No. If somebody wants to go through that process of getting a firearm, what does that look like for me? I don't have a gun. I want to purchase one. What are the steps that need to be taken in order for me to accomplish that goal?
Sure. So you need to purchase a firearm. You need a handgun qualification license. We call it HQL.
Okay.
With Maryland State Police. This is Maryland.
Okay.
So in order to get that particular license, you need 4 hours of training, and you need to shoot. Any guesses on how many rounds?
What's that?
Any guesses on how many rounds
how many
you have
rounds?
to shoot?
In 4 hours time?
Yeah, it's a 4 hour total.
Total 4 hours.
Total 4 hours.
To get your HQL.
How many rounds do you have to shoot?
I'll say 1,000.
One.
One?
One round you have to shoot for the HQL. So the alternative to HQL is just going ahead and doing the concealed carry foundations. That's the Team Grizzly USA class.
Okay.
Same thing as Maryland wear and carry permit training. It's 16 hours.
Okay.
All right. It's more like 200 plus 200 to 300 rounds.
Okay.
7 hour range day. So we spend a lot of time on the range, making sure that you're growing in your confidence and your comfort level and understanding of the tool. And understanding how you might use that in a life and death situation. We call it a critical incident, dynamic critical incident. Things are changing, it's chaotic, under stress. We're not just shooting paper targets. We start there. But we add in some stress and some understanding that under stress, how is your body going to react? So we want to make sure you're learning how to shoot under that reaction.
Okay.
What's your stance? What's your grip? What are you going to feel like?
And you simulate all that.
We simulate that as much as we can on the range.
Sure.
For that. So 7 hours there, and then you get the rest of it is virtual, divided into segments.
Okay.
So you don't have to sit in a classroom for 8 hours. It's divided over a 4-week period typically, and we're going to go through pistol and ammo knowledge, the fundamentals of defensive shooting, malfunctions, malfunction clearing, situational awareness. We have a dedicated segment on that. There's 2 hours on situational awareness and understanding body language and the anomalies we talked about, how to see them, what to do, how to plan for that, and even some really cool body language things like, macro body language, micro body language. And people love that. Even if they don't carry, they're welcome to come to that. And then we're going to go over a legal segment, which is another 2 hours. So use of force, understanding that, understanding Maryland law on that, what you can do, what you can't do. So it's a 16-hour course.
Okay.
Once you have the 16-hour course done, you get a guide to getting your permit, and anybody can get that as well, even prior to the class. And then you apply with the Maryland State with fingerprints and application, and then it takes they have up to 90 days to make that decision and issue your permit.
Okay. Is there anything within the application that they would say, like, okay, that person's not going to get one?
Felonies.
Okay.
Domestic violence, those types of things are big red flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Maryland is a shall issue state now.
What's that mean?
Okay, so it basically means that since the Bruin decision, Supreme Court decision back in New York or 2022, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So once that happened, we were declared a shall issue state, which means that if you do go through the process and you pass the background check, they have to issue you the permit. Before then, it was may issue. You had to have reason to have a firearm, like personal protection because you have threats against you, or you're a business owner, and so you're carrying cash and those types of things. So there
real
were
estate agents,
yep. Assumed risk positions like that.
Yep.
Mortgage even fell into that. But now it's shall issue. So a lot more people can apply and get their permit than prior to that decision.
Is that a good thing?
I think yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because before that, it was, it would prohibit a lot of people from trying.
Okay.
Or they just didn't have a reason except for personal protection. So now personal protection is a reason to apply for your permit. So I think that is more in line with our Constitution.
Gotcha. So 7 hours on the range, 9 hours of virtual learning. Have you ever had to say, like, do you have to give the final blessing for the person?
They have to qualify.
They have to qualify.
So they have to qualify, and that's based on their range experience, their range performance, and a particular qualification.
Yeah.
So I have had people not pass the qualification, very few.
Okay.
But they come back, and they're able to repeat that and go from there.
I'm assuming you probably take that position of authority pretty seriously.
I do.
You know, especially from what we witnessed and experienced out on the range for a day. Hey, we're just a couple more hours and we're going to be good. We're going to be good.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. As people are going through that process, what are the biggest aha moments for people that they thought they knew but they really don't know? Some misconceptions of law, of what's proper, anything like that.
About the law?
About the law, yeah. I mean, because there's certain things that you can and can't do. You can't bring guns into certain places and stuff like that. You probably can't carry it across state lines. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, so it depends. You may be able to carry it across state lines if your permit is reciprocal, or you have a permit in that state. If not, there are certain ways to separate the guns and the ammo to do that. So a lot of that stuff people had no idea about. As far as the law, it's a lot of information in a short amount of time, and the 5 elements of self-defense that people don't realize are there's 2 I's, APR.
Okay.
So coming from the mortgage side, I say 2 I's on your APR, right? Annual percentage rate. Everybody knows what that is.
There you go.
So you have to be the innocent party. You can't be the aggressor. Okay. Imminence. It's happening now. It's not a threat, a future threat. It's happening right now.
Okay.
There's no time. So you have to be the innocent party. It has to be imminent. It has to be, if there's avoidance, if it's avoidable, if you could have left the scene prior to, if it was safe for you to do so, you had to avoid.
Gotcha.
Okay. P is proportional. You had to use proportional force. So if someone's using non-lethal force against you, you can't use lethal force to stop that non-lethal threat.
Okay, see, so now that's something that I wouldn't have known. Somebody's coming at me with fists.
Right. Now, if there's a huge size difference or ability, or there's multiple attackers that just have fists and you're on your own, there are some circumstances where it would be reasonable that you feared for your life.
Yeah.
And you use lethal force to stop that threat. So there are some areas that aren't cut and dry. Some gray area. There's some gray area.
Yeah.
But the general idea is, I'm in fear for my life or grave bodily harm. That's when you're able to use that lethal force or that force to stop the threat. And then reasonableness is where they look at it and say, okay, was it reasonable? Did you make reasonable decisions based on someone in your circumstances with your background? Was it reasonable that you chose that action? That's the one that's tough.
That's tough.
It's tough because
Very subjective.
there's objective reasonableness
Sure.
that someone from the third party looking in says that was reasonable. Subjective reasonableness is that you truly believe that you were in fear for your life. You truly were in fear for your life, and you felt like what you did was the right thing. Subject or objective is where that jury is now looking at all the facts and saying, okay, we understand that you felt that way, but most people in your circumstance wouldn't have felt that way. So there's a difference there with the charges and things like that.
I can't imagine being in the moment where you have to make a decision and then have to go through all that to say, okay, is this going to come across as reasonable?
Right.
I mean, it's just in the heat of the moment, and
That's why we go over a lot of scenarios ahead of time
Yeah.
and help you think through what would happen if. I like using videos in my virtuals to show examples of use of force.
Okay.
And let's place ourselves in that situation. If you're the prosecutor, what would you pick out? Right? Or if you're the defender,
Yeah.
how would you defend this guy? Because back to the 5 elements, and I'll mention Andrew Branca here because he came up with the 5 elements. He's a world-renowned self-defense attorney. I've trained under him with taking some of his classes, including the instructor course for the law of self-defense.
Yeah.
And he came up with those 5. And here's the thing, that if the prosecution can disprove just one of those elements, you've lost your self-defense claim.
Dang. Better have all your bases covered.
Better have your bases covered. Better definitely have a legal membership to help you there.
Yeah.
Right? Because even if you're completely innocent, completely justified, there's going to be cost involved to defend if it's not super clear from the get-go. So, yeah.
Wow. And in defense of your actions, if you don't have a gun license or you haven't gone and done training, that probably doesn't fare well for you if the need arises for you to protect yourself and you weren't qualified.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And this is why I recommend that when you do train, just have a journal, have a training journal. Say, I shot X amount of rounds on this day.
Yeah.
I went to the range this day. I did dry fire, for this many hours this week, or this many trigger pulls.
You have a long list of evidence of.
Correct.
Yeah.
I do train.
Right.
It's not that I wasn't training.
Gotcha.
That caused the issue.
Yeah. So if people were leaving Google reviews on Team Grizzly, what would people read about Team Grizzly and what sets you apart when it comes to firearms training?
What students have left me on there on the Google reviews are personalized coaching. And despite, we might have however many people we have on the range, I felt like he spent time with everyone to help each person get better. I understand grip better. I understand this better. I improve this. Real world scenarios on the range. So we're not just shooting paper targets. We're not in an inside range. So a lot of times when you go to a class, you go to an inside range, you're on what we call square range, and you're shooting those paper targets on the square range. And you can learn a lot there, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we're outside, we're in a dedicated range, we've got paper, we have steel, we have some competition, right? Dueling tree, you remember that?
I do.
So that starts to add everything together, and people really enjoy that because now they're having to do reloads under pressure.
Yeah.
And they're going up against someone else. They've got some competition, the adrenaline's higher. So those real world scenarios, not just that, but shooting from cover, shooting and moving at times. We don't necessarily get to everything in every class. It depends on the student's abilities. But the real world training, the personalized coaching, and the dedicated range time that we give is what people love about us.
Yeah. And certainly we experienced that when we came for that short amount of time, a couple months back. And remember when it was. Jeez, time flies, man. Time flies. Wow. If people want to connect with you, they want to get more information, want to sign up for class, how can people reach out to you?
TeamGrizzlyUSA.com.
There it is.
TeamGrizzlyUSA.com.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
That's the web. I did look at your website. Did a pretty good job there.
Thank you.
Did you do that, or
Thank
did you have somebody else do that?
I started it, and then I had somebody revamp it.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah, and you had different videos on there and stuff like that. So it was a really well laid out website, and people can get a lot better idea of what you have going for you. Are there specific start dates to classes, or do you wait until a group gets filled, or is on this date this next session's going to start?
Usually I pick a range day for the month for the Concealed Carry Foundations course, and I plug that out there. For instance, my next couple are July 11th, which is next week, and then August 22nd. And then so people can sign up for the range dates. The virtuals they sign up for as well, usually prior to the range day. Okay. But they're not necessarily required to be in order. So they're a little more flexible, which is useful for people with busy schedules. But I also have a pre-registration. So if someone wants to do it, just reach out to me or fill out the pre-registration, and then I know, okay, this class is forming. I'm going to make sure I have a date, and guess what? You're the first ones to know about it. That's
cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, okay, so this won't come out until probably after your first one. So August 22nd will be the date.
That's right.
Of getting on the range. So, and that's cool too that like you're hitting the virtual stuff before the date usually, or can you?
Yes, usually it is.
Okay.
Specifically, the pistol and ammo knowledge and the fundamentals of defensive shooting. If we can get those in prior to, that really helps that comfort level on the range, because we've done a lot of the groundwork that you're going to be using on range day.
Yeah.
So, but even if you don't, I'm still going to go over it on range day and make sure everybody's up to speed. Well,
you run a tight ship, very educational. I got a lot more out of that day than I thought I was, certainly a greater appreciation for the safety and the education part of what it really means to work with firearms. I just thought we were just going to blow stuff up, but you run a great operation. And by the time my wife left, she felt comfortable, so there's something to it. You did a really good job. So I commend you for that. I hope people reach out to you, TeamGrizzlyUSA.com. Follow, and then you can follow us too. I don't know why you haven't followed us yet. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the Markland Advantage. Our real estate website's themarklandadvantage.com. You can listen to this podcast on Apple and Spotify or anywhere you download a podcast, or you can watch YouTube and you can see the Grizzly Man himself on video, and of course all the B-roll that Drew's going to throw on top of it. I think it's going to be a good episode. So,
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man. And before I let you leave, all right, we talked about Team Grizzly, but there's a whole nother side to this, man, that we haven't even talked about. You are a mortgage lender with SWBC, a loan officer with SWBC Mortgage.
Yes.
Right here on your office is right on Bond Street at the Harford County Chamber of Commerce building.
Yes.
What is going on in real estate right now?
What is going on in real estate?
Everybody's asking me, so I got you in the hot seat. I want to know from the mortgage side of things, what are you seeing? What are you seeing in the near future? Nostradamus, give us your predictions, please.
Well, definitely on the hot seat, but how much time do we have?
Yeah. Should we just cut and then go to the next podcast?
The short is, of course, inflation is the arch enemy of bonds, right?
Okay.
Because bonds have a fixed rate of return. So when we have inflation, that brings down the value of the bond.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, right.
And that causes rates to go up.
Okay.
So inflation, when we see inflation, rates go up. So mortgage bonds follow the mortgage-backed securities market. Okay, the pricing is based on the mortgage-backed securities market, not the Fed rate. Okay, not the stock market, not the 10-year U.S. Treasury. Although we do see parallels, especially with the Treasury, and that's because of the bond and the duration of that bond and the typical duration of 30-year mortgages. So Iran things that have been going on over there, which doesn't seem to be finished yet.
You thought it was going to be.
You thought it was.
And then shots were fired again the other day.
Speaking of shots.
Yeah, right?
So that is causing everything to go up. Mm-hmm. So that's also causing inflation. Thankfully, mortgage rates have been moderately higher. They've come down some. So that, of course, helps your buying power for your buyers. But I don't know if you're seeing it, how you're seeing it in the market. But as far as availability of homes, supply has been pretty tight.
Yep.
So everyone's looking at those houses that are coming on the market. So that's keeping the values of the houses and the prices up, which makes it a little tougher on buyers to be able to get their deal done.
Yeah. I mean, it's that monthly mortgage payment that is probably the most important factor that buyers need to be looking at and make sure that they can afford that.
Yes.
Not necessarily where the interest rate is, but what can you afford?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always talk to my clients about is, look, we may be able to approve you for X amount, but here's where those payments are going to fall. We want to make sure that it fits your budget.
Yeah.
Don't overbuy. Make sure it fits your budget, and that will help you in the future because I'm not making your payment for you.
That's right.
You need to do that. So
if you pay, you stay. If you don't, you won't.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, and to commend you too. We have somebody that we're working with right now in our team with me and Kara that was sent your way.
Yes.
And had just raving reviews about the conversations that they've had with you. So
great.
Well done, brother.
Thank you.
Well done, man.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot today. Thank you so much again. Team Grizzly, SWBC Mortgage. You're opening doors on dreams and closing doors. Go ahead, you say it.
Opening doors to dreams and closing doors on nightmares.
I love it, man. Until next time, folks, live your life to the fullest. We'll see you soon. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.